Literature and Nautical English 2.5 Ernest Hemingway's The Old Man and the Sea and Nautical English. The Old Man and the Sea is a short novel written by Ernest Hemingway in 1951 in Cuba. It was published a year later. It was Hemingway's last major fiction which was published during his lifetime. The Old Man and the Sea is the story of a struggle between an old fisherman and the greatest period of his fishing life at sea. For 84 days, San Diego, an aged Cuban fisherman, has set out to sea and returned empty-handed. His young, devoted apprentice and friend, Marilyn, continues to care for the old man upon his return each night. Although his parents force him to leave the old man in order to go to work for another boat, San Diego is confident that his unproductive catch will soon come to an end, and he resolves to sail out farther than usual the following day. This part introduces extensive reading. Extensive reading is an approach to learners who read extensively. They read very easy, enjoyable books to build their reading speed and fluency. In that case, extensive reading is also known as graded reading. The aim of extensive reading is to help the students improve their reading skill, rather than read to learn the language. When students read extensively, they read quickly and enjoyably with adequate comprehension without using a dictionary. Let me read aloud the first paragraph in order to elicit the main idea and mark the nautical words in red. He was an old man who fished alone in a skiff in the Gulf Stream, and he had gone 84 days now without taking a fish. In the first 40 days, a boy had been with him, but after 40 days without a fish, the boy's parents had told him that the old man was now definitely and finally drowned, which is the worst form of unlucky, and the boy had gone at their orders in another boat which caught 3 good fish the first week. From the first sentence, we learn about who the protagonist is, where he fished, and how long he had gone fishing. It made the boy sad to see the old man come in each day with his skiff empty, and he always went down to help him carry either the coiled lines or the gaff and harpoon, and the sail that was furled around the mast. The sail was patched with flour sacks and furled. It looked like the flag of permanent defeat. This is the first paragraph. This paragraph is about the old man's being unlucky to catch fish. This is the main idea or gist of this paragraph, but this is not the theme of this novel. As you read through the paragraphs, you will feel the old man's struggle with each defeat and Hemingway's portrait of inevitable death. As mentioned at the beginning of this video, extensive reading is another focus of this class. Now, let me tell you how to read this novel extensively, and at the same time, you read it quickly and enjoyably. Each paragraph includes a topic sentence that presents the main idea of the paragraph. Generally, the topic sentence appears at the beginning of the paragraph. It is often the paragraph's first sentence. You can start with the topic sentence of each paragraph that attracts you in order to get a general idea of this novel. For example, on page 2, A paragraph starts with the sentence, "They sat on the terrace, and many of the fishermen made fun of the old man." From this sentence, the reader learns that a fisherman with no fish can be seen as a loser. The second sentence in the same paragraph shows the sympathy the older fishermen feel for San Diego. Others of the older fishermen looked at him and were sad. This novella contains some dialogues between the old man and the boy, namely between San Diego and Madeline. On page 3, the boy shows his care for the old man. He said, "May I get the sardines? I know where I can get 4 bags too." The old man responded, "I have mine left from today. I put them in salt in the box." The boy said, "Let me get 4 fresh ones." "1," the old man said. His hope and his confidence had never gone, but now they were freshening as when the breeze rises. The old man's faith, hope, and confidence are clearly shown in his words, and he never admits defeat. On page 34, "Fish," the old man said. "Fish, you are going to have to die anyway. Do you have to kill me too?" The old man's monologue exemplifies Hemingway's portrait of road in which death is inevitable. But San Diego finds the shark worthy of a fight. San Diego's struggle does not enable him to change his place in the world, but it enables him to meet his most dignified destiny. San Diego's monologue exemplifies his most dignified destiny. "But man is not made for defeat," he said. "A man can be destroyed, but not defeated." "I'm sorry that I killed the fish though," he thought. "Now the bad time is coming, and I do not even have the harpoon. The Dentuso is cruel and able and strong and intelligent, but I was more intelligent than he was. Perhaps not," he thought. "Perhaps I was only better armed." On page 36, the old man shows how he battles with the fish. He made the fish fast to bow and stern, and to the middle throat. He was so big it was like lashing a much bigger skiff alongside. He cut a piece of line and tied the fish's lower jaw against his bill, so his mouth would not open, and they would sail as thinner as possible. Then he stepped the mast, and with the stick that was his gaff, and with his boom reached, the patched sail drew. The boat began to move, and half lying in the stern, he sailed southwest. This paragraph contains some nautical terms. You can choose any paragraph you like to read and have fun reading it.